Thank you, Chairman Shimkus, Ranking Member Tonko, members of the subcommittee. Thank you for the opportunity to provide our perspective on the discussion draft being discussed today. My name is Emily Skor, and I'm the CEO of Growth Energy, the leading ethanol industry association representing 100 producer plants, more than half of the industry's total production. A transportation fuel mix with more ethanol lowers costs for consumers, revitalizes our country's rural economy, and improves our environment. Our members thank you for attending to our 21st century transportation needs and recognizing the importance of high-octane fuel in continuing to advance these national interests. We have thoroughly reviewed the discussion draft and applaud the authors for first, recognizing that octane plays a critical role in helping automakers meet fuel economy and greenhouse gas standards. Second, allowing the year-round sale of higher ethanol blends like E15. And third, granting federal approval for fuel beyond E15, demonstrably supporting the research that affirms ethanol blends above 10% do not harm passenger vehicles. However, where we believe this draft falls short is in the assumption that the Renewable Fuel Standard, the RFS, is broken and needs to be fixed. We wholeheartedly disagree with that perspective. In fact, despite years of mismanagement, the RFS has fulfilled its congressional intent to increase domestic energy supplies, improve farm incomes, and reduce carbon emissions, with the added benefit of lowering the price at the pump. By any objective measurement, the RFS has been an overwhelming success. Repealing the RFS is unnecessary and will further destabilize a struggling farm economy and ethanol sector. Moreover, the draft does nothing to stop EPA's continued misuse of the Small Refinery Exemption Authority, or even acknowledge the agency's unprecedented and possibly illegal use of this authority. EPA has already waived up to 2.25 billion gallons of biofuel blending, undermining demand by failing to reallocate those gallons in line with congressional intent. And we face additional exemptions for 2018 and in the recently released 2019 RFS rule. We applaud the examination of an octane standard, but the draft's proposed 95 RON is easily met with today's premium gasoline, which costs consumers about 50 cents more per gallon than regular fuel. A recent report from the Energy Information Administration cites that refiners would only need to make minor operational adjustments to supply the increased octane requirement of a 95 RON baseline fuel. And in previous congressional testimony, refiners stated that they plan to meet the 95 RON fuel standard with a current 10% ethanol blend. Today, ethanol is 25 cents less per gallon than gasoline and was as much as 90 cents lower earlier this year. As I've previously testified, the past decade has shown oil companies will actively ignore economic incentives to prevent market entry of higher ethanol blends. Only by coupling a stable RFS to maintain market access with a significant boost in octane from a mid-level ethanol blend can consumers realize significant cost savings, increased engine efficiency, and substantial environmental benefits. Unfortunately, this draft as proposed will lead to reduced blending of cleaner biofuel, and it will raise fuel costs for American drivers. We commend the authors for following sound science in approving E20, but the draft provides minimal guidance on approving ethanol blends beyond E20. E15 was approved nearly a decade ago, and we are still working through hurdles erected to keep this legal fuel out of the market. This draft should recognize and seek to eliminate the myriad challenges to approving ethanol-blended fuels to enable a reasonable pathway for their entry into the marketplace. While one of the draft's primary goals is to make the U.S. fuel supply uniform, it does not unify the availability of ethanol-blended fuels above 10%. Simply preventing future actions does nothing to break down state-level hurdles that exist today. This draft may even block a state from moving forward with higher blends. We must avoid backsliding on the progress of the RFS, which has helped launch a more affordable, low-carbon alternative to traditional petroleum fuels. While we do support certain aspects of this discussion draft, we believe it misses an opportunity to lay out a bold vision for the future of affordable liquid fuels and to make a significant impact, restoring growth in America's rural communities and decarbonizing our nation's fuel supply. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.